One thing about the days that we are living in, we have what we call the great deception. In this episode, I want us to discuss what's really happening in this age that we live in and how the devil is really trying to manipulate us, how he's trying to deceive us, especially black people. I want us to look at black people specifically and how these people are using colonization to trigger us so that we can walk away from Christ. So without further ado, please do me a favor, hit subscribe, like, share, comment if you have to, and let's get on with it. The Bible tells us that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And for years, he's been using the same strategy, right? He's been using the same strategy, it does not change. The same strategy he used on Eve in Genesis 3 is the same strategy he used on Jesus Christ on Matthew 4. Is the same strategy he's still using even today, right? But that's a topic for another day. What I want to touch on is how he is trying by all means to deceive each and every one today in this age. And one of the things that the enemy uses the most is what we call the race card. He uses race to trigger everybody's emotions. Because of we've been through colonization in Africa, he uses that to trigger each and every one so that they can listen to what he has to present. This is the same thing that Joshua Maponga uses. Whenever he presents something, he will not present his facts without mentioning the white man, what the white man did to you. There is this new religious group called Israel United in Christ. They use the same strategy. Just to prove it to you, I want you to watch this.
It does make
Christ said, I come only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You got to know who's Israel. You got to know Israel would go into slavery. They would be colonized and oppressed forever until he returns. That's us. That doesn't fit the Chinese. It doesn't fit the white man. That only fits our people.
Oh, yeah.
We are those people. This is why when we ask Caucasians, we say, hey, why don't you sit down with us and let's go through the text? No, because they'll see our videos and they'll know they cannot debunk this.
We understand the white involvement, their domination and their colonization and their whatever. So I want to ask the same God, where is our land? Where is our identity? And if your God cannot accept me as an African.
So one thing they are aware of is that if we mention white people, that if we remind these people of how horrible white people treated us at some point, these people won't question anything. In fact, they will act out of emotions. You will never question whatever information that Maponga presents to you. Why? Because of you are angry at the white man. And this Jesus Christ which is presented to you, you are told that he is a creation of a white man. So you react out of anger. You react out of bitterness. They use the hatred that you have against the white people and the fact that they colonized you for their advantage, for you to follow whatever ideology that they are pushing, whatever agenda. Because if I come and present an agenda and make the white man an enemy, you're going to follow me. You won't even ask questions. They know that you will never ask questions. Why? Because of the majority of black people are angry at the white people. For me, as a black person, I know that if I support an ideology of a white person, I'm going to be called colonized. And people do not want to be called colonized, even if what they are following is true. That's why they tell you that Christianity is a white man's religion. But what they will not tell you is that Africa is not the only continent to be colonized, and Africans are not the only people to be slaves. Every time the word slave is mentioned, Africans are triggered. The UK colonized Singapore, and today as we speak, Singapore is richer than the UK. This is one of the factors that prove to us that for Africa to be poor, is not because of colonization. For us to be where we are today, it's not because of colonization. There's this lady from Senegal who explained it better than I could even explain it. Check this out.
Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, oh, Africa is poor because of colonization, I'm like, please, let's move on from that. Does it have maybe a tiny percentage in where we are today? Maybe, and I don't know. But I know it's not the cause. Because if it were, many countless countries have been colonized before. And by the way, colonizing one another is humanity's history. It just happened that maybe Africa has been one of the last, colonized region in the world. So in our psyche, it is there, and it acts like nothing happened before to others. But flash news, it's the history of the world. We've been capturing each other back and forth, all of that.
The issue of colonization in Africa is not the one that kept us poor in this continent, but we have leaders who cannot take accountability. We have leaders who have hungry stomach. They want to feed themselves. Take South Africa, for example. 30 years into democracy, since Black people came into power in 1994, until today, nothing really happened. How much money did the ANC loot? How much money did Black people in South Africa steal from the government? We've seen the corruption that really happened, and we are in danger because young people of this country might end up having nothing in years to come. And that is not because of colonization. That is because we had leaders who were obsessed with feeding themselves for the past 30 years. So whenever somebody comes to you and they try to make you feel stupid for following Jesus Christ, and they tell you that Christianity is a white man's religion, don't buy it. Because first of all, they are following familiar spirits, divination spirits, water spirits. You are following God. They will only use one thing against you: your emotions. The fact that you're going to be offended when we mention that the white man colonized your great grandparents. Because of your black, they're going to use that. Everywhere they go, they use the race card. So do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. Africa is poor today not because of we were colonized. Africa is poor today because of people that are in leadership positions were selfish enough to enrich themselves, and crazy enough because of people that are in leadership positions do not fear God. So I was just doing this episode just to show you how they trigger people into following them ignorantly. So what is used is the race card, because of they know that if we use the race card, we are done with these people. It's easy to fool somebody who's gonna make decisions out of emotions. That's why even the Bible tells you that do not do anything out of anger. And the Bible also encourages us that we should always be sober-minded. please do me a favor and subscribe. Make sure that you share. Make sure that you comment if you have to. And yeah, until the next time, God bless.